This is Barcelona, home to Antoni Gaudi's masterpiece La Sagrada Familia, stunning sandy beaches, Camp Nou, the bustling La Rambla, and exquisite Catalan cuisine. But what you may not as often hear about Barcelona is the urban planning of the city, which is also the reason why the iconic square blocks exist. In the mid-19th century, when Barcelona was rapidly expanding and modernizing, the city faced a significant challenge. How do we accommodate the growing population and improve urban infrastructure? To address this, the city enlisted the help of engineer Ildefons Cerda. Cerda's vision was revolutionary. He proposed a grid plan, which was to be used for the streets which departed from the winding medieval streets of the old city. His plan was based on a simple yet ingenious concept, the Eixample. This urban design was characterized by long, straight and wide avenues intersecting at right angles, creating a grid of square blocks. One of the primary reasons behind this design was to promote hygiene and sanitation. The old, cramped streets of the medieval city were breeding grounds for disease and lacked proper sewage systems. Cerda's grid plan allowed for wider streets, ample sunlight and improved ventilation. This not only enhanced the overall quality of life, but also reduced the risk of epidemics that had plagued the city for centuries. Additionally, the Eixample design was a nod to social equality. Unlike the old city with its narrow alleys, the new grid system provided equal-sized plots for all citizens. This approach to urban planning was a significant departure from the class-based divisions of the past and was originally meant to avoid exclusive neighborhoods, which however ultimately failed. Cerda also wanted to include green spaces in the block design, as he had foreseen the need for parks. He incorporated these parks in open squares at regular intervals throughout the grid, ensuring that residents had access to recreational areas within walking distance of their homes. He originally also wanted to have these parks as a part of each block, so that residents of each block would have a yard where they could enjoy both nature but also socialize with their neighbors. This was however not prioritized, and the green parks turned into car parks instead. Another essential aspect of Cerda's design was transportation. The wide avenues accommodated horse-drawn carriages and later trams and automobiles. This forward-thinking approach to mobility was a precursor to modern urban planning principles. And this forward-thinking of Cerda is actually very impressive, as he had foreseen the need for wider streets and designed the roads to accommodate both the present but also the future. And to think that Cerda did all this 27 years before Carl Benz patented what we today refer to as being the first automobile is absolutely mind-blowing. But if we go back to the grid plan and look at it with today's eyes, you might see how traffic can become a problem, and that is exactly what Barcelona has been working to bring down in recent years. They have done this with Superblocks, or Superillas, which is a unit of 9 square blocks where vehicle traffic is restricted, allowing the interior streets to become pedestrian-friendly zones. The concept was initially proposed in the early 21st century as part of the urban mobility plan of Barcelona. And while there's currently only a handful of superblocks in Barcelona, the city aims to implement over 500 of them in the foreseeable future. The idea of superblocks emerged in response to the challenges of modern urban living. As Barcelona continued to grow in the 20th century, issues like traffic congestion, pollution, and limited green spaces began to surface. To address these problems, the city government initiated a bold experiment in urban transformation. The primary goals of superblocks are to reduce traffic, improve air quality, and better the quality of life for residents. By limiting vehicle access to the edges of the superblocks, the inner streets become safer and quieter, encouraging walking and cycling. This shift also aligns with Barcelona's commitment to sustainability and reducing its carbon footprint. And the air quality is no joke, as studies carried out by the Barcelona Public Health Agency show that pollution causes over 350 premature deaths each year and is a particularly significant health problem for the more vulnerable younger population of the city. However, one of the most famous examples of a superblock is a Poblenou superblock. Here, several square blocks have been interconnected to create a large car-free space. Within these superblocks, you'll find green areas, playgrounds, outdoor seating, and even urban gardens. The superblocks are also a great connector between residential and commercial areas, as many shops and restaurants are located within. Furthermore, the reduction in traffic within the superblocks has led to both a decrease in air pollution and noise levels, which was also one of the main goals of the project. And in an article by One Earth, we see that after superblocks were implemented in Sant Antoni, which is a neighborhood in Barcelona, they have gotten rid of 82% of the cars Nitrogen dioxide concentrations are now 33% lower, and noise pollution has dropped by 4.1 decibels in the daytime and by 5.3 in the nighttime. But while the concept of Superblocks in Barcelona sounds wonderful in theory and has undoubtedly brought numerous benefits, it has not been without its fair share of challenges and complexities. When the idea of restricting vehicular traffic within the inner streets of these superblocks was initially introduced, it faced skepticism and opposition. Some residents and local businesses were concerned about the potential impact on accessibility for deliveries and customers. However, according to the Barcelona City Council, less than 5% of customers at commercial premises in L'Eixample access them by car. And if a customer needs to pick up a product with their car, the design of green streets will allow for occasional loading and unloading for goods, vehicles and private vehicles alike. Furthermore, the allocation of space within superblocks has been a subject of debate. Balancing the needs of residents, businesses and green spaces within a limited area can be quite a complex task. Another concern is the potential displacement of traffic to surrounding areas. By reducing vehicle traffic within superblocks, there's a possibility that congestion may be pushed to the perimeter streets, which affects the neighborhoods adjacent to the superblocks. However, these superblocks are not meant for just Barcelona. They should be seen as an inspiration to cities worldwide. First and foremost, superblocks represent a response to the pressing issues that cities worldwide face with: rapid urbanization, traffic congestion, and noise pollution, and the need for sustainable urban development. To show how superblocks could benefit an American city, let's compare Barcelona to San Francisco, as both cities share relatively the same population density. San Francisco is, however, a bit geographically challenged compared to Barcelona due to steep hills, limited space, and dense neighborhoods. San Francisco, like Barcelona, is notorious for its traffic congestion, and superblocks could be implemented to counter this problem by promoting alternative transportation methods such as walking, cycling, and public transit. Just like Barcelona has faced problems with air pollution, San Francisco, like many other American cities, do as well. By limiting vehicular traffic within the city, by implementing superblocks and promoting greener modes of transportation such as electric buses and bikes, the city can significantly improve air quality. Superblocks can enhance the quality of life in San Francisco by creating more pedestrian-friendly environments with green spaces, playgrounds, and outdoor seating. This can lead to healthier and more active lifestyles for the residents, contributing to overall well-being. And this approach addresses the growing concerns about inactive lifestyles and the associated health issues, which are not unique to Barcelona and San Francisco, but prevalent in large cities around the world. And while not every city may be able to implement superblocks, as it, requires a city built on a grid structure, urban planners can take great inspiration from the city no matter what. Barcelona's idea of restructuring the city to be built for people instead of cars is an example of great forward thinking and an active move towards combating climate change. The whole concept of superblocks is, however, relatively new, and only the future will show if superblocks were the key to sustainable urban development.